Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Crypto Hipsters Curtain Calls. This is your host, Jamil Hassan, the Crypto Hipster, where I bring you compilations from my previous seasons. Seasons 6, 7, and 8 make up the Crypto Hipsters Curtain Calls. And this is episode 66. We're going to 67, so this is the next to last episode. I hope you tune in and enjoy it. I have clips from four. This is a compilation for four podcasts, one from season 7 and 3 from season 8. I had to kick things off with the conversation with Dan Kaizer. Dan and I spoke in May 2024, May 26, 2024, during season 7. He's the Chief Technology Officer at Azuro. And Dan and I spoke about how to create a thriving prediction app system on chain. Second was an amazing conversation with Bowen Wang, who's the founder of Near One. We spoke in May 9, 2025 in season 8. We talked about advancing the technical frontier and evolution of Near Protocol. The third conversation was with Pavel Altukhov, who is the co-founder of TAC. We talked about how to help Web3 developers easily deploy hybrid dApps on Telegram. And fourth was my conversation with William Herkelrath, who's the CEO and co-founder of K3 Labs. And we talked in February 2025. So Pavel and I spoke in April 2025. William and I spoke in February 2025. How to empower the automation of day-to-day operations and innovate today rather than months from now. Now, the title of this 66th episode is called Bittersweet Symphony. Actually, the question I'm asking is Bittersweet Symphony? How enduring the growing pains of a nascent Web3 industry today will lead to a thriving global economy tomorrow. So yeah, episode 66, Bittersweet Symphony. How enduring the growing pains of a nascent Web3 industry today will lead to a thriving global economy tomorrow. These four podcasts make up episode 66. All of my podcasts are available in their entirety on my Spotify station, Crypto Hipster channel on Spotify, YouTube, anywhere you listen to your favorite podcasts, you can check this out. Thanks for tuning in. Tune in next time for my final episode of the Crypto Hipsters Curtain Calls, covering seasons 6, 7, and 8. Thank you, and enjoy your day.
So, what is the importance of oracles today? Because there's been some changes and some evolution or de-evolution of oracles over the years. What's the status of oracles in their maturity level? And we're looking at the lens of transitioning companies from Web 2 to Web 3.
Oh, yeah. Oracle is really a complicated area in Web 3. One of my first projects in crypto was connected with Oracle. It was in 2017. So it's still not fully solved issue in Web3, in my opinion, because we still don't have some proper decentralized solution for oracles. And in the meantime, it's really a key part of this area in general, because as I mentioned, for example, for us, data is really the most important part of our protocol. Because if we don't have proper data, it means we don't have risk management, we don't have these proper odds that I talked previously about. So yeah, because of that, it's really like the most significant part of our product and a lot of other products in Web3 as well. So for now, we are using optimistic approach for oracles. For now, it's one of the most popular approach in crypto. One of the most popular, maybe, not the most popular, obvious, of course. So yeah, I can elaborate a bit about it, how optimistic approach works. Optimistic approach means that initially, optimistically, we are thinking that Oracle is fair, and we trust to data that he provides. But then we can challenge him. So anyone can challenge him, or some validators can challenge him. System can be designed in different ways, but the main approach is that after data provided, someone can challenge this data and send some, let's say, poison transaction or something like this, and open the dispute that this data is wrong, for example. So now we are using the same approach. We still have really a lot of work to do to make it really decentralized, because now we don't have enough entities, in my opinion, and not enough don't have enough different data providers. But yeah, we are working in this direction right now.
I would think that the purpose of oracles and the dark side of prediction markets are at odds with one another, are opposite things, right? And so the oracles would flush out some of the pitfalls of the prediction, protocols. How do you see it? How do you see the need for oracles being able to overcome the limitations of prediction markets?
So yeah. So yeah, I think now oracles is really the main limit for prediction markets, and to be honest, for any protocols that using off-chain data. Now it's an issue for blockchain in general. So why does it happen? Because look, blockchain designed in the way that all data in blockchain fully determined at any point of time. So I mean, at any point of time, you completely understand what's the state of any variable inside the blockchain. But if we are talking about the real world, it's completely undetermined. And here we try to combine this data all together. And if we rely on Oracle inside the blockchain, it means that that fully determined system rely on some undetermined variables.
How can we deliver that multi-chain world absent of fragmentation? And what can this cohesiveness enable?
Yeah, so I think, as I said, right, what we wanted to enable is just like smooth and frictionless experience for the end user, right? Because for I mean, yes, today there is relatively large amount of people adopting crypto, but that's still, when compared to the consumer market, it's still a very small fraction of them. And I believe, or we believe, that one of the main difficulties to get to like mass adoption is that today users have to navigate this complexity of the multi-chain world, that they need to think about what they need. First, you need to like even like understand that there are like applications built on top of like different blockchains. If they want to use an application, they may need to get tokens for the underlying blockchain, and all sorts of get a wallet, and all sorts of complexity like this. And I think even for like for the crypto curious people who doesn't really have prior experience, this is something that can scare them away. It's just way too complex. And even for experienced like crypto native users, once you start, when you have to deal with like 8 different L2s, have balances there, and moving across them takes like 30 minutes, you're like, yeah, this experience is not great. So yeah, what do we want to do is we want to abstract away that kind of friction, and having this unified experience for people to kind of move their assets, but also to trade their assets and so on. So we build a chain signatures technology to have this ability to have account on near controlling other accounts on other blockchains. And then we built the kind of omni-bridge solution on top that allows people to bring assets from different blockchains back and forth. So now the token can not just be on one blockchain, but simultaneously on a lot of blockchains. And then on top of that, we built Near Intents, which is this intent-based platform that allows people to trade digital assets. I mean, for now, but potentially physical assets in the future. So that's a place where you can do, you can easily trade like Bitcoin for XRP or like Bitcoin for Ethereum or like Solana for Near. You can basically have this like frictionless experience to navigate this multi-chain world.
So then you're not going to need to wrap Ethereum with Bitcoin. You're not going to need to wrap anymore. You can do all that trading with intents, right?
Correct. Yeah, it's basically like for the end user, it's like for them it's like trading Ethereum for Bitcoin and things like this, right? So in their front end, they'll just see that they're trading like Ethereum for Bitcoin or Bitcoin for Solana or whatever that is.
Got it. Because that hasn't been available until recently, right? So how's that gonna, so the future of chain abstraction, what will that, from a DeFi perspective, and I'll get into AI in a little bit, from a DeFi perspective and from institutional adoption perspective, because there are some thoughts that, institutions are going to buy just one crypto, and they're going to hold one crypto. And what you're saying is they can do so much more, they can do it more safely and securely.
Yeah, that's correct, right? I think it's, for the users, basically what I talk about, like they can trade multi-chain assets very easily. They don't have to go to different blockchains to kind of do complex things to just get like one token or one asset. They can easily trade in this like multi-asset platform where like they can trade, as I said, like Bitcoin for Ethereum or Bitcoin for Near or like all sorts of like combinations like this very easily. And then, on top of that, a lot of things can be built, right? We can have this multi-asset lending platform, right? You can borrow Bitcoin for Ethereum and borrow Near for Solana and do all sorts of like combinations like this because the idea is that they actually have balances in one place. So it makes building kind of additional infrastructure, additional DeFi infrastructure like this very easy. And then on top of that, you can build like multi-chain index on top of this, right? And you talk about institutional adoption. I think yes, there are people like what you said that they believe in one asset, but there are also a lot of people like they like an index would be very appealing for them basically to get exposed to a variety of different assets.
Yeah. Interesting. Ton is like number 13 right now, 14, something like that, as far as market cap. But if you look at the graphs around the world, the distribution around the world, Ton is a top 5 coin. The only reason why it's so far low is it's not a top 5 coin in the US, but around the world it is. Interestingly enough, we're down. The market, I don't talk about price too much, but market's down. So I did a quick snapshot of the top 100 coins. The two coins are trending up. One is Tron, and the other is Ton. And you said that it's seamless, so people are using Ton seamlessly without even knowing it. And then that gets reflected in the usage. You said what you're doing is you're helping EVM developers build on Ton, where they can focus less on coding and more on the end user experience. Why is it important to help developers not need to code anymore?
There are basically two things to that. So first, different ecosystem, which Ton is, and if you want to be servicing the needs of 1 billion, you have to be scalable, right? So Ton is specifically designed to handle that task, which other blockchains, by the way, cannot, right? So, but it implies a different architecture. So it is not sequential within the block; it's sharded. That means that Ton scaling itself breeds instances which coordinate with each other, and that radically changes the way smart contracts interact. That in turn makes the developer who is familiar, let's say, with the Solidity stack and sequential architecture of Ethereum relearn totally. It's not even the tech stack, right? To fit that. First, it's hard. Second, I mean, it's not even hard, it's time consuming. So to get the critical mass of builders, you have to spend a lot of resources. We've seen, judging by history of emerging ecosystems, we understand how big is the role of so-called multi-chainers within builders, right? These are the ones who are building on Ethereum, they try to build on Near, and then they, building on Ethereum and Near, and their retention is higher, right? So with the down cycles on the market, they tend to continue building. In contrast to those single chainers which are converted from the Web 2 into Web 3. So this is my view on the ecosystem development is important here to understand that Ton has a way of building natively, which is very potential. It is very resource intense from the builder's perspective. So basically, we are trying to solve two issues. First, to get all the apps evolution into Ton and Telegram by onboarding Ethereum applications, but more importantly, getting reach to the dev community, which is biggest in Ethereum, which counts in tens of thousands of builders, who are converted into those multi-chainers more easily and start building on Ton, and thus propelling the native building on Ton. But to come back to your question, so basically, we are easing. Practically, we're making it we're not easing it up. We're practically making it seamless to current dev runners and builders who have their EVM applications already running. So basically, there's no change to the code deployment on tech, which is a sovereign layer 1 Ethereum powered, namely fully EVM compatible, so they can easily deploy on us. Well, we during that process help them do that and substitute their core EVM code with the TVM transactional and custodial function and the code on TVM, making the application hybrid. So basically, every app deployed on us becomes partially stays EVM, but gets the part of TVM code, Ton native code. So practically it starts to exist on both sides. And the Ton adapter, which is essential part of our architecture, eases the communication between TVM and Ton part of the application and EVM. And in turn allows the Ton wallet holder to connect from through TVM side with the tag deployed EVM application. So let's say we help existing applications get access to the distribution of Ton and Telegram. We at the same time help them see the traction, and there are a lot of ways hybrid application can get better. First, from the perspective of latency of transactions and so forth. Scalability. So those who see a product market fit, they migrate to TVM easily. So basically, we're like a constant stream of new applications because the evolution on the applicational side obviously happens these days on Ethereum, which we intend to bring into the Ton ecosystem. For those who already found the product market fit, migrating to Ton partially or fully. This is how we see the the ecosystem building, and that's what our value proposition for developers on EVM side is.
That's great. That's great. So, what I find with entrepreneurs is a lot of them, and founders is they like to be on the stage at conferences, right? They like to do the flashy things, right? They don't like to focus on the day-to-day operations because it's boring, right? Why is it important for them to focus on the operations and not just strategy? And how will you help them to understand the operations a little better than they do the strategy?
Well, I'm still jealous of them if they can get up on stage, and I'm not as good at that as I wish I were. I'm still jealous of the slick back look. There's some guys who really have the whole package. Men and women, of course, who have the whole package and do a great job. So I'm not trying to take them off stage, but I do think that they will be surprised at how much they just time and energy you can save if you partner up with with a good tool set. I guess just from my experience, again, I've been building software and been in the software industry for quite a long time, and people do overlook the importance of having an efficient operation. And when the money's fast and thick in the beginning, they don't care about those things and they just want to go a million miles an hour. But there's definitely going to be a day when making sure that if you don't need 25 developers, if you can do the same thing with 10 developers instead of 25, you're better off doing it. Having 10. It's just those days will come. And being efficient and making sure that you're making the best choices and partnering with the best people is an important. I just, from my own experience, having just done it as many times as I have, I just know that that's critical, and that's the hole that I really wanted to patch. I just could not see everyone. Every time you go to these conferences, everyone's like, "Oh, crypto, we're taking over everything. The whole world's coming to us," and blah blah blah. And I'm like, well, I'd like to believe that, but are we really going to turn everyone into a Solidity developer? And, because that doesn't seem right to me. I don't think everyone is every single coder that comes out of school going to be a Solidity developer? It's just not practical to suggest that to really take advantage of our industry, you have to understand it to that level. It's just not realistic. So I do want us to take over, but to do that, we have to start building a lot better tools, and we have to start being a lot more focused on user experience and what that journey looks like.
Let's talk about those tools then. How would you describe the current? Well, you've been describing it's not. We have a matter of potential, right? But what's the current state of the Web3 building tools themselves? Where are we at? Where do we need to go? Like, where we need to be? Not everybody's going to be a Solidity developer. They have to learn something. How are they going to be able to utilize those tools, and what is needed for them to be able to use those tools?
Well, I mean, very candidly, I think they aren't very good. And it's not because that people are trying. There's some amazing work, but most of what we do is for developers, and there's nothing wrong with that. But how many websites do you go to in our space where it's by developers for developers, and it's a statement of pride, right? And I get it. I get why that's a statement of pride, and I get why it's great to do great things for developers. And again, like I said, I'm really pleased with the reaction that developers are having to K3 Labs. Like I was actually surprised to see how much they're enjoying getting started. So I'm really glad that we're hitting that market. But that I just strongly believe that can't be the only market. There's a lot of tool sets out there that have their smart contract templates. You can get started with this. You can call my API. You can call my SDK. Everything is, you can plug into this. You can plug into that. It's all permission. Like we've got a lot of templatized work for developers that we've got, which is great. And so developers have almost too much to choose from, to be honest. But we still don't have anybody who's really putting it in the context of real day-to-day use cases. The very first use case we built was not that trading use case I talked about. It was not some of the fancy stuff, the liquid pool, like monitoring and management, all that kind of stuff that I see people doing on the platform today. It was a very simple, me coming back from a meeting with a couple of big banks here in New York, and they said, this is the most simplest thing I've ever heard. I just want to write some data to a blockchain. Like, I've got data that's coming out of my internal system, And the world wants me to put it on chain because that's cool. And also it's just in the transparency, and, you know, they're talking about moving carbon data on chain. This is basic stuff. I can't write to a blockchain. I can't run a node. I can't hold, I'm a, you know, a New York institution. I can't hold crypto and pay gas fees and whatever. I just want to write data to a blockchain. How hard could it be to write data to a blockchain? And that's one of the very, very first use cases that we modeled. And it takes, you know, it's about 30 seconds to set that up in a platform today. You can connect any single API you want to from your internal system or anywhere else in the world, and you can write it to any blockchain you want to, and you can have that run at whatever frequency you want to, and it takes you about 10 seconds to set that up in the tool. So it didn't start as rocket science. It's really, really basic things, and then we grew it from there. But like there wasn't even a single tool out there to do something like that. And if we don't even have it, if we didn't have a tool to do that, then then I'm just, you know, it's a little we're missing the mark. So we're thrilled. I'm sure there'll be some competitors. I'm sure there's other people wanting to do what we do. This will probably be a crowded space in a couple of years, and that's good for all of us, right? It's good for all of us that we get in there and we all start building things that work for people who don't have the ability to, you know, get in there and build everything from scratch as if they're the, you know, the biggest pros in the world.